So, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to generate, we'll say roughly around about 30 to 60 leads per month consistently. And you can do this with a £1 to £5 and sometimes £10 cost per lead. Now, of course, if you're American, that would be like $2 to about $15 cost per lead. Now, this will work for whether you're doing automotive, whether you're doing, of course, if you're automotive, you're selling cars, anything that is selling any high ticket program, whether it's for coaches, consultants, or even for your own business, for your own agency, for example, if you're interested in generating more leads for your Facebook advertising services or digital marketing services, or even if you're running ads for your clients where it's a lead generation campaign. So there's mainly two types of lead generation campaigns that I run for clients, and depending on the client will determine which one I go for. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you one of the ways to generate leads for clients. It's actually the easiest way. Now the other way, I will show you that way in another video. But if you have a client or if you want to learn how to run ads for yourself, then stay tuned because I'm going to show you exactly how I run ads for all of my different clients. And I've got one client where we generate, well, last month we generated close to 1,000 leads. Another client, we generated 500 leads, 400 to 500 with generating leads for clients. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my advertising account and I'm actually going to show you the ads that I have run myself in the past so that you can have a good idea of how I set up a lead generation campaign. So the first one I use is a lead form inside of Facebook. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh my screen, so you know this is not photoshopped or anything like that. I'm just going to go into detail on how I set up a lead generation campaign, and this is how I usually set up for all businesses in general. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with this advertising account over here. Now I will explain the reason why if it manages to load. So yeah, so I will explain the reason why I stopped. The main disadvantage of this strategy. However, I will also provide to tackle this big major disadvantage because I'm going to be completely transparent with you. So when it comes to creating a lead generation campaign, let me go to edit. I know the cost per lead says £84.99. This is not true. Facebook isn't tracking all the leads correctly. The cost per lead for this particular campaign is around £22.65. So it's doing well. It's just Facebook is not tracking all the leads from that campaign. So when you're creating a lead form, all you have to do is, obviously, you come over here. If you haven't done this before, you click on, once you've created your ad account, once you've got access to the Facebook page, the Instagram page, and all the nitty-gritty details, and now that you're ready to actually create the campaign, you go over, of course, yours will be completely blank. So if you're running a lead generation campaign to a audience on Facebook that hasn't interacted with your brand or your client's brand before, it's going to be something we call a cold audience. However, if you're running a lead generation campaign to an existing audience, for example, a customer list or a Facebook, for example, people who have followed, liked, shared a Facebook post or Instagram post, then of course that's going to be a warm campaign. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to run a lead generation campaign to a cold audience. Not an audience that's already interacted with your brand or your client's brand, but with people that have interacted with any brand at all. So let's begin. So usually the way that I like to set it up is I would go with cold. So this will let me know that it's a cold audience campaign. Then I like to know what is the setup. So in this case, it's going to be using a Facebook lead form, and then of course, what is the objective? Of course, the objective is to generate leads. However, we want to generate renovation leads because I'm specifically targeting home improvement businesses that do kitchen or bathroom renovation. That's the reason why I put renovation over there. So let's just say, for example, you do a coaching program. For example, I would do cold, lead form, and for example, coaching, for instance. Now, in terms of the actual settings from the campaign level, because if you ever run a Facebook ad before, in terms of the creation of the campaign, there's 3 levels to a Facebook campaign. There's the campaign level, and this is where you choose the objective. There's the ad set level. This is where you choose essentially the budgeting, the targeting, the placement, and all these other details. And there's the ad itself, which is what the actual end user, the customer, the client sees. The person who's on Facebook, who you're trying to target, is going to see, if that makes sense. So what I usually do is when I create a lead form campaign, is this is the name. I keep it as auction leads, and honestly that's all I do. I don't really mess around. Obviously you can test a CBO, or in this case an advantage campaign budget, but I usually turn this off, if that makes sense. So the next part. Now, what I'm going to be showing you before I continue is unlike any other YouTube video that you've had the opportunity to watch. So I'm going to be showing you something different, something completely new. If you have run a lead form campaign and it hasn't been successful, please stay tuned to this video, because I'm going to show you a unique approach that you probably haven't heard of before that will really help you start seeing some success. So of course, when it comes to the ad set, we're going to start with the audiences. There's 3 different types of audiences. There is an interest-based audience, which is an audience on Facebook. There is a custom audience, which is where you essentially are retargeting a customer list or a Facebook source or Instagram source, whether video views, whether people who've engaged with your Facebook page, and whether people who have essentially interacted with your pixel, view content, add to cart, initiate checkout and purchase, for example. And the last one is a lookalike audience. Now each and every single one of these audiences are effective, they're profitable, and they work. So for a lead form, usually the clients that I work with won't have a customer list already. If they do, that's fantastic. So I'm going to focus this video on the first audience, which is an interest-based audience. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on, you can see, let me move this. You can see the best performing ads are, the best performing audiences are interest-based audiences. So let's just continue. So I'm going to pick this particular ad set. So when it comes to creating the actual lead form, this is usually the setup that I like to go with. So of course, since it's a lead form, I would select instant forms. Now in terms of the name, I will reveal the name in a minute, how I would usually structure the name. Then you would scroll down, cost per result. I used to have a cost per result, but I don't do that anymore, simply because I feel like that hinders the performance of the ad campaign. Now daily budget, I would always recommend a minimum of £10 per day, which is £300 for a month minimum, to get some level of results. However, if you can spend more, like 20, 30, 40, 50 a day, that is fantastic. But for this case, we keep it at £10 per day. So if you're hearing any background noise, there's a bit of construction going on near my house. So in terms of the start date, now, if you're starting the campaign, of course I'm recording this video in the UK. Well, that's my location. So me being based in the UK, if I start this advertisement, for example, right now, it would be okay. But the point I'm trying to make is, if I created this advertisement, for example, at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, what that means is, let's say you have a budget of £10. Once it's gone through the Facebook approval, so obviously Facebook will approve the ads. Once it's been approved and it's running, what that means is, let's just say, for example, you start the campaign at 10 o'clock. That means Facebook has 2 hours to spend your £10 budget, which is not good at all. So my recommendation is, if you're not starting the advertisement early in your specific time zone, whether it's US, Eastern or Pacific time, or even if you're from Canada or Australia, I would recommend, if you're not starting it in the morning in your specific time, according to the time zone of the ad account itself, then I'll recommend you start it the following morning. So if you're starting the advert in the evening, don't start it. If you're starting it in the morning, then that's fantastic. If it's not the morning, then start it the following day in the morning. I recommend maybe 6 a.m., 7 a.m., that kind of time. Fantastic. Then of course targeting in terms of your location. If you're doing this, for example, if it's a local business, then what you want to do is you want to go in there and then you want to essentially put a pin. You want to put the postcode and then do the delivery, do the mile radius of where your client base is going to be, if that makes sense. So let's continue to scroll down, and next we've got the Advantage Plus audience. So the Advantage Plus audience is effective. I wouldn't recommend you switch to the original Facebook audience. It's not as effective as an Advantage Plus audience. So now, depending on what you're selling will determine the age group. So if you're doing this on behalf of a client, ask the client who is their ideal target audience age group. Now, if you're selling something high ticket, usually you'll be looking at targeting people who are 30 to 65 plus, who are going to be able to afford what you have to sell. If it's something that's lower ticket, you can probably get away with 18, 20, probably not 18, but I'll probably say 22, 23, 25 plus. Does that make sense? Now again, this depends on what you have to sell, which determines the gender, whether it's male and female, or just male or just female. And then now we get onto the actual interest targeting itself. So when it comes to targeting, it only comes down to testing, because you don't know which audience is going to do the best. So I'm doing kitchen renovations. That's the reason why I'm going to target interests that are based on renovation for kitchens or bathrooms, as you can see here. Now, I would recommend, if you are going to do multiple interests, don't do anything more than 4. Now, I have done ads in the past, but this is for e-commerce clients who have done 8 interests in one ad set. But for lead generation, I recommend 1 to 4. That's usually the sweet spot. Now, what I would recommend you do is you create one ad set where it has 1 interest. You can create another ad set that has 4, another one that has 2, another one that has 3. I'll leave that up to you. But if you're struggling, start off with 4 ad sets. So again, it depends on what you're doing lead generation for. If it's, for example, gym owners, I'll look at popular gyms and then basically just put them there. So get the 4 most popular gyms that have your ideal customers, your ideal clients, and then I would put the 4 over here. If, for example, it's something car related, then I would do automobiles, automobile brands or companies that are ideal to the clients that you want. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't really need to go into too much detail. But in terms of the interest targeting, that's usually what I do. Find interests that are very relevant and related to the product or service you're trying to sell. So now, in terms of placements, I used to do Facebook and Instagram feed only, but now I realize that you can get leads from Instagram stories or Facebook stories or different placements that you wouldn't actually think you would get actual leads. So I always keep it at Advantage Plus placements, so I give the full control to Facebook in order to find out which placement is most effective. But usually you will find out it will be Instagram and Facebook feed, and also you can also see Instagram or Facebook stories as well. They're doing really well for lead gen campaigns. Right, I know that the majority of what I've said you can find in another YouTube video. So this is the part that's different from what other people do in terms of creating the lead form, and I believe this is where you're going to get your breakthrough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a previous client, and then you can actually see the results of this approach so that you know that I'm not bluffing. So I was working with a client earlier, at the back end of last month. So they were basically doing Facebook ads for gym owners. They're doing Facebook ads to get more gym owners. So this was their original Facebook lead form campaign, and you're going to be able to see the results once it finally decides to load over here. So you can see that the cost per lead was $39.29. Now, after working with me, we managed to bring that cost per lead down by 50%. So I'm going to be showing you what we did differently. We managed to bring the cost per lead down by over 50%. The cost per link click, by 50%. Even though the click-through rate was lower, the overall performance, the overall cost per lead was better. So this client essentially did the setup all wrong, for example. So let's just say, for example, ad set number 3. What they was doing is they was doing a custom audience, and I believe was this one a lookalike audience? No. So this one was a completely broad audience, and the setup was wrong. The reason why the setup was wrong was because you can see here they was targeting 18 to 65 plus. So please don't make this mistake. And you can tell that there was an error because when I looked at the ad account, you can see that there's 140 million people you're targeting, which is too much. I recommend at least 800k to 5 million if you're going to be targeting through a Facebook lead form. So they had no, the age group that was targeting was wrong. There was no detailed targeting at all. So that was the main issue over here. So now this is where things really got interesting. So when we go to the actual, so we'll take this particular campaign that managed to generate 2 leads. So number 1, you can see that they're running 1 ad. I wouldn't recommend, and this is overall in general. So if you've got a Facebook advertising campaign, I wouldn't recommend you just do 1 ad. Make sure you have multiple ads because again, you don't know which one is going to be the winner. When I say the winner, which one's going to allow you to generate leads at a good cost per lead that will generate you sales, and from those sales you make a good return on your investment. You take a percentage of that return to reinvest it back into your ads, and that's how you scale. That's what we're looking for over here, very specifically. An advertisement that's going to allow you to spend, for example, $20, get 2 leads, and this is a hypothetical scenario. One of those leads converts into a sale. If it's high ticket, you charge, for example, $1,000. You make your money back plus profit. You take a percentage of that profit, you reinvest it back into the ads, and that's how you grow. Does that make sense? So the problem that this client was doing is they was relying all of their success on 1 single ad, which is one of the biggest mistakes I see advertisers do. So please do not do this. Of course, the ad itself looked really good. You can see that the copy was good, but this was way too long in my opinion. So now, let me show you the difference over here. So after working with me, now the reason why they turned off this campaign was because it wasn't to do with the ad, it was something to do with the partners, unfortunately. But overall, you can see that the best performing was this one at $11.42 cost per lead. And then you can see that this advertisement was, of course, the winner so far. So this is the secret. Now, obviously, you waited 18 minutes for this. Now, I'm going to make sure that it's worth it. When I was running advertisements for my own ad account, so let me just go over here. So when I was running advertisements for myself, originally, what I would do is I would have some sort of an offer. Now, an offer is not necessarily 50% off, 20% off. Those are a discount. That's what it is. For me, an offer is what is the result that you aim to achieve for the client? How long is it going to take for you to achieve that result? And what is the risk reversal, that will ensure that if you do not achieve the result in a specific time frame, essentially the client gets their money back. So you've seen this offer everywhere online. Alex Hormozi talks about it in his book, 100 Million Offers, essentially. So what I'm talking about here, for example, the offer that I was doing was get 5 paying new renovation projects, renovation jobs, that's kitchen or bathroom renovation, guaranteed or we work for free. Does that make sense? So get 20 new paying gym members in the next 90 days, or you get your money back. For example, that would be what I call an offer that's more effective, that would generate you more leads than just 50% off our $1,000 package. Does that make sense? So you want to focus on a result. Now, I'm going to make it a lot more simpler. Pause for a moment and think about your target audience. Now, if in this case you're doing lead generation and specifically you're going after business owners, so whether gym owners, local business owners, so brick and mortars, internet company business owners, if it's software as a service, whatever it might be. So think about these business owners and what do these business owners value. Now, one of my mentors taught me this trick and it really helped me in terms of creating ads. So let's just imagine your specific client had a report or a chart and there was a specific number that will determine whether they are happy or not happy with the results that they're going to get. So I'll give you an example. So me as an entrepreneur, me as a business owner, I look at my reports each and every single day of how many customers that I generate from my ads, for example. So with this report, if me as an advertiser, if I can market to myself, I would focus on how we can increase the specific metric, which is customers that you generate, new customers. If we can increase that by 100%, which is double, then of course I would be very happy. The point that I'm trying to make is, whenever you want to make a promise, you want to make a promise that is measurable. That when somebody is able to work with you, they can measure the success, measure the results. So whatever promise you make to the marketplace to get your ideal clients, make sure you're promising something that's specific, something that's measurable, and something that's achieved in a specific time frame. Those are the three magic things. And as a golden nugget, add a risk reversal. If you do not achieve the result in the specific time frame, then of course they'll get their money back. That's usually the formula that works the best for creating any sort of ad, not just a lead form. Does that make sense? So again, this goes for gym owners. If a gym owner was going to wake up, what is the report? What is the number that they're going to look at that really matters to them? So in this case will be gym members. So if they were to look at the report of how many new gym members that they have, then that would be the metric that you use in your marketing that will allow you to attract that ideal customer. Does that make sense? So that's what I was trying to teach this specific client, that rather than focusing on something generic like a 50% off or whatever, focus on a specific number that a client can measure to know that yes, working with you, investing in your services has been successful. Does that make sense? Because ultimately, when you're selling a product or service, you're taking a customer from point A to B, and you want to make sure that point A and point B is very simple and it's measured, so that a client completely understands the value that you provide. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you have a better understanding of how to create an effective offer for your ad. Does that make sense? So that's the reason why this did really well. But I wanted to improve the performance, so this is what I did. So this is how the story goes. One day I thought to myself, and it was late, very late, it was probably like midnight, and how can I improve essentially my advertising campaign? So what I did was I used my phone and I wrote a list of different offers, because the success of any marketing campaign, 80% of the success of any marketing campaign is, number one, targeting the right audience. Number two is the offer, and then number three, which is the remaining 20%, is the copy, the funnel, and everything else. So targeting the right audience with the right offer determines 80% of the success of any marketing campaign. So that's the reason why that specific night I focused on, okay, how can I improve the offer? Which is why you see here, I had time to think, and I thought of different offers that I can do for clients that will essentially allow them to get the results that they want. So one offer that I thought of was get 30 to 40 new leads in 30 minutes, or well, for 30 minutes completely for free. Now, how do I do that? I will explain in another video. But the next offer was spend. So the next offer was, because I worked with a bathroom renovation client before, and I realized that the client spent £271 and was able to generate in 2 sales, generating £20,000. So I thought, okay, let's just say, for example, if a kitchen renovation business owner spends £500 on their ads, if I can get them at least one paying renovation project, then of course they're going to be happy. However, if I don't, they get the £500 back. You see the exact same formula, a specific result achieved in a specific time frame that's measurable, but if they don't achieve the result in the time frame, they get their money back, or whatever risk rehearsal that you want to have. Does that make sense? Another one was something very similar, but get your next renovation project for free in 7 days guaranteed, or you don't pay. So what I'm trying to say is, build a list of 10, 15, 20 different offers that you can do, and make the offers different. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, and again, please don't do 50% off, 20% off. Those are not effective. What result, what number can you increase in your client's reports that they value? So for example, it could be increasing gym members. If you're targeting gym members, it can be reducing staff cost. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, it doesn't have to do with sales. Remember that it's a specific number in a report that the gym owner looks at. It could be like their financial report, for instance, and you're focusing on a specific number, a specific metric that you can increase or decrease. I'm going to keep it very simple for you. So it's whether you increase their revenue or you decrease cost. Now, how do you do that? You can increase their revenue by increasing the number of new customers, or increasing the number of existing customers that buy more frequently, or that buy just more in terms of average order value. Because there's only 3 ways to get new customers. No, there's only three ways to get a customer to spend more money with you. Or alternatively, you can go down the cost route and help reduce staff cost, help reduce customer churn. So there's so many different ideas that you can have in terms of offers that you can create to the marketplace. So the point I'm trying to make is, don't just think of sales. You know, how can I get them more customers? There's other areas that you can help a business owner make more money without adding an extra gym member, for example, if it's for gym owners. And that goes for all businesses, because business is business. So that's what I did. I spent time thinking of different offers. For example, get 30 to 40 leads in 30 minutes for free, and I can actually do that for clients. So whatever offers you think of, make sure you can actually achieve it, but most importantly, make sure you have some sort of proof that you can actually prove to the client that you can do this for them. So one of them would, get customers 50% cheaper. You get the idea. So back to the previous client. So that's what I recommend. That's what I recommended that they do, is to spend some time thinking of different offers that they can create for gym owners that's going to allow them to essentially reduce their cost per lead. And when they did that, rather than running one ad, they was able to run 3 ads. So I would always recommend you start up with 3 ads, which means 3 different offers. So one was 20 new paying gym members, 5 new paying gym members. So you can see that they really wanted to focus on increasing the volume of gym members. Does that make sense? But you don't have to do that. You can obviously, like I said, think about reducing customer churn, or increasing increasing monthly members, whatever it might be. The sky's the limit. And then from that, what I recommend for each offer should have its own ad copy and its own video, which I'm going to talk about in another video. So that's basically what I did. And from doing that, it basically allowed me to, let's go back. Let's go over here. able to test. These were the different offers, and you can see the spend £500, get your next renovation project, or get your £500 back. That was the offer that was successful. Does that make sense? So yeah, that's basically it for this video. So in terms of a lead form campaign, of course, in terms of setup, honestly, you can watch any other YouTube video on how to set up a lead form campaign. But the difference between my strategy is I like to focus on the offer and presenting 3 to 5 different offers in your ads that will allow you to see which one the audience essentially is attracted to the most, and that's how you reduce your cost per lead by 50%, like I've shown you with this client. And like I said before, I run ads for clients where I'm generating them. Last month I generated one client over close to 1,000 leads, another client 600 leads, and this is like 24 pence cost per lead, which is amazing. And another client is like £2.50 cost per lead, which is also amazing. So what I'm showing you works. Now, if you need any help with your lead generation campaign, click on the link down below, book a call with me, and then we can essentially audit your lead generation campaign or your business, your marketing, and we can take things from there. So thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.